All right, you ready?
Heck yeah.
All right. Smile. Hello, world. I am Jake Short, husband, father, and your Northern Arizona realtor. I have a special guest today. Introduce yourself, would you?
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I am an escrow officer with Property Title down in the Phoenix Valley, and came up to Flag to have some fun today.
Yeah, let's hang out. Let's answer some questions and just talk.
Thank you.
So, where did you meet me? How did you find me? Did I find you?
You found me. We got connected
We did.
somehow. Phone call.
Phone call?
Yeah. And I was like, this guy sounds amazing. I think I want to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
That was before I saw you. I mean,
Right on.
that seals the deal.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I don't recall why I found Proppy, but I remember, I don't remember looking it up, but I did find Proppy, obviously. And I was really like getting into crypto. And when
I think that's the piece.
Yeah, when I discovered that crypto and Proppy were kind of connected, it just kind of became a really awesome ball to roll down a hill with, you know. And it was fun.
Yeah.
And we've closed some transactions together, and it has been a blast, actually, just because I tell this to people that ask about property or that I'm talking to about property, that you work when I work. Like, you don't work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then you're done. If I have a question on a weekend, I can call you or text you, and you're like, yeah, no problem. And you start the paperwork on a weekend, too. I love that. It's fantastic.
We do.
It is great.
Yeah, we definitely pride ourselves in being more of like a 24/7. I mean, it cracks me up when somebody sends an email on a Friday night with a new contract and says, please reach out to the buyers on Monday. And I'm like, well, reach out to them in the morning, on Saturday morning. But, they're always surprised, and we get earnest money then on the weekend with our electronic earnest deposit. And they're always like, wait, this is so different from how we're used to that traditional real estate transaction.
It's how it should be too, because as a realtor, I feel like I'm always ready to talk to people, to do something, to make something happen, and having to wait on title is really frustrating.
I'm sure.
But property, it's not that way.
Yeah.
You work when I work, and I love that.
Getting an out of office when it's not even 5 p.m. yet is it's not how it should be.
I agree. Yeah. I definitely agree. How long you been either with property or as an escrow officer?
Yeah, so property found me, actually. I was working traditional title and escrow. I just was day to day, I found a need to have more security. Wire fraud was still happening, and to be on the other side of a buyer calling you saying, I wired over my funds and we haven't given them the closing amount is horrible. I don't wish it upon anybody. But that was happening at the company I was with, and we didn't have any safeguard measures, and just in general, very traditional, outdated systems, and it took so much longer to do things. So I actually had a recruiter on LinkedIn that reached out to me that said, have you heard of Proppy? They're this, up and coming real estate, title and escrow company. They record on the blockchain. Do you know what blockchain is? And I just laughed and I said, no. And I, it was, just hearing them out, and went down a huge rabbit hole. Sounds like what you did with just learning about blockchain technology and crypto, and seeing how it can integrate with real estate. And I just became a super nerd really quickly, and quit at the traditional company I was with on a Friday. And then on a Tuesday, I was flying to Miami for Proppy's Crypto Web3 and Real Estate Summit in 2022, and was talking to people that know so much about crypto, NFTs, blockchain, just incredibly talented human beings and brilliant human beings. And then there's little old me, just fresh with the company. And then we're a startup company. So at first it was kind of more bringing in business, and now I'm able to close that business doing what I know and love, being on the escrow side. So
that's awesome. So are you pretty well versed then in blockchain now and crypto?
I would say so.
How Proppy ties into that?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I would say so. And the biggest thing with blockchain, that I love that our company specifically does is we record all of our deeds on the blockchain. So we do that for the benefit of the buyer. And just as technology continues to advance, we see that being the future of how all records of ownership will be recognized and transferred. So we're a little ahead of the game, like Samsung and iPhone. Samsung's ahead of iPhone. But won't go down that rabbit hole again. But no, we do it for the benefit of the buyer. And there's so much wire fraud, deed fraud, title fraud in our industry. And we just took a step back and said, what can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen for our clients in our transactions? So, yeah.
I can speak to that. Just recently, I'd say within the past 3 months, I had somebody reach out to me saying, I want to sell my land here in Flagstaff. And it was like a 1 acre parcel in Cheshire, which amounts to maybe $200,000 on the market, right? And this guy says, I want to sell it. And I'm like, all right, I need a copy of your ID. And so he sends me a picture of a passport. And the passport, it's obviously, it looks like there's a thumb on the picture, like he's holding it, right? And it has his name. And I'm like, all right, sweet. The name matches with the seller name, but his wife's name on the passport does not match with the name on the county website. And the two pictures of the passports, the thumb is in the same spot. The background is the same. So I'm like, hey, the passport name of your wife doesn't match what the county says. And he says, oh, hold on. He sends me another picture with the name now corrected. The thumb's in the same spot. The background is the same. I'm like, this is really weird. So I took it to my broker. She said, don't touch that.
Yeah.
Ask someone in title. So at the time I was talking with someone in a local title agency, and I told her that, she's like, that's really weird, I'll take this higher. And I stopped doing anything with that. But it's real, like deed fraud is scary.
It is.
So when that happened around or shortly after I started talking to you about property, and like it was clicking in my head, like deed fraud is really a scary thing. And if we have a way to prevent that, we need to execute that, and that's what property is doing.
Yeah.
It's taking to the blockchain, not just off of pen and paper. Is that a way to say it? How it is now?
Yeah. Well, even with you open escrow, can invite the buyer onto the platform to submit their earnest money. That's how our process is. To submit their earnest deposit, they have to upload a picture of their ID. So right from the start, we're verifying the buyer's identity, from the very start. So, we start right away just making sure that our people are legit. And because our company does transact with digital currency, with crypto, that's something that we have the ability to do. We then get people that think, okay, cool. They, people still associate crypto with, fraudulent money, and it's the complete opposite.
Right.
The technology behind that blockchain is so secure, and so they learn really quickly. No, we have a lot of safeguard measures to make sure that it is legitimate money, and they turn away and run away really quickly.
Right.
So
yeah, the blockchain and crypto, everything is public. Like there's no hidden. You can't hide the transactions because it's public record. So that's why a lot of people don't really like it. But at the same time, we need that because there's too much hidden stuff behind all these. That's why fraud exists. So I love the idea of selling and buying on the blockchain and recording on the blockchain. And you can sell and buy on blockchain. Like you can actually pay with crypto, right? For a house and get paid with crypto.
We've done full crypto to crypto transactions.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not there yet, but someday I want to do that.
Most people aren't there, but for when people get there, I mean, hey, look at how much Bitcoin has skyrocketed. There's more people that are getting back into it. So
we'll
see.
Yeah, indeed. So I have to ask, you present yourself very well. What were you before an escrow agent?
Oh man, I was a nanny.
That's just surprising a bit. Okay.
I was. Yep. And so I got into the industry. I was a notary, loan signing agent.
Okay.
So I was just getting loan documents, going to people's house, really refinances, and just loved, being that third party that was signing with, the buyers or sellers or, borrowers refinancing. And then I actually walked into a title agency marketing myself as a notary. And the branch manager was like, "You're great, but I don't want you to be our notary. I want you to work here." And I was like, "No, thank you," and ran out the door. And she literally chased after me. She was pregnant at the time and literally chased after me and was like, "No, I'm serious. Will you come back in?" And I started working from the next week. And I am so grateful for it every day because I absolutely love being in the role that I'm in. I could never do what you do, but I love supporting what you do.
That's funny because I don't feel like I could do what you do.
Beautiful. That's why we work well together.
I agree, absolutely. What does a day look like for you, a normal, typical day as an escrow officer?
Yeah, well, you'd think it would just be like, your average, check an email and, take a phone call. But I would say on a day-to-day, you are having to look at what is most important and then prioritize, what do we have closing today? What needs to be done? Making sure the buyers are aware of what they need to take care of, make sure sellers are aware of, what next steps are, keeping the agents informed, keeping, sometimes we got to make sure the lenders are doing their job because they start to slack off a little bit. So on a day-to-day, it really is a lot of communication, whether it's, phone calls, text messages. We do a lot of texting between buyers, sellers, agents, emails. And it's just, we have a lot of hurry up and wait, hurry up and get this done, wait until we have what's needed, hurry up, and there's a lot of cutoffs and deadlines. And, we're at the mercy of a lot of third-party companies, and it's a lot of moving parts, and it can go really bad. But we have a really well-oiled machine with our team, and a lot of support and great technology that allows us to spend more time with buyers and sellers and making sure that they're aware of what's going on in their transaction, so they're not scared or intimidated or feeling lost in one of the biggest transactions of their life. So. Yeah. As
a realtor, I have a CRM that helps me manage the people I'm talking to and what I have to do today, task wise.
Yeah.
Do you have something similar that helps you stay on track with this transaction? Yeah. Oh, hey, this person texted me. I have to stop for a second, go to here. What's going on here? What do you use to differentiate between transactions or mindsets toward one?
Yeah, and so within my team, the way we have it structured, we are task oriented. I'm big on tasks. I mean, we get a couple people that will be in our files, and I'm big on go to the tasks, make sure everybody's aware of where we're at in that file and what needs to be done to get us to that to the finish line, and make sure we do it seamlessly. And a lot of times we're ahead of schedule on files. We have everything that we need done, so we're kind of just waiting for a lender to provide us with closing docs or to reach that close of escrow date if it's cash, and encouraging parties that we can close early if they can, because we're usually just, again, that hurry up and wait. So we're big on tasks and setting things on the calendar to make sure that we follow up and make sure that we have certain things done, and checking in again with the lender and making sure that we are going to be clear to close. We won't have any surprises. Mm-hmm. And then it never fails. We get loan docs at 4 p.m. day before closing. That happened yesterday. So it happens. So a lot of tasks for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one reason why I try to stress to everyone, never close on Friday. Closing day should not be on a Friday. Thursday is okay. Monday is usually better, but don't close on a Friday. For sure. So what's the craziest thing you've seen as an escrow officer? There's probably a decent long list, but...
Oh boy. It's been at the closing table. Right off the bat, I'm thinking of, we had a seller that came to the closing table drunk as a skunk and reeked. I mean, a signer has to be willing and able, and I was like, "Ooh, is he able?"
Right.
But I mean, he signed the paperwork, and oh gosh, he was just going off the wall. A buyer that I'm literally finishing his fat stack of loan docs. We're getting through signing. His name was wrong on the deed of trust, I will add, and I always double check that their name's spelled correctly. I even have them check and read went through the whole signing. His name was wrong, and he went forward with it. I'm like, what? Anyway,
he went forward with it.
He did. That was the first thing. The second thing was at the end of the signing, he's like, yeah, I got to go pick up my new truck. And I was like,
you bought a truck during a transaction? Oh my goodness.
The day before, maybe it's 2 days before closing. Yeah, one of the biggest things you tell your clients, right?
Don't do anything credit-wise at all during a transaction. Wow.
That one closed a month later.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
I had to sign him again. A month later.
Oh my goodness.
Got his name corrected, by the way.
But I mean, he probably lost his rate with the lender too because of that. Like, you just don't do that.
No.
You don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, transactions where cops got involved and some stuff that happens that wasn't, I think it was the buyers called them on the sellers. And so it was stuff that we then heard about.
Whoa.
But deal still closed, but got kind of messy. And they were trying to get us to pull stuff. And we're like, oh, we're out of this. So the beautiful thing about being neutral third party, nope, your deal's closed. I'm so sorry.
I can't imagine being in a transaction like that where the cops are on.
Well, the agents have to, or you're the one that has to deal with it.
Yeah.
A little more involved.
Like earlier, you said, with a previous question, you said people may think that it's like, check your emails and that's kind of it. I feel like in this profession, or no, in the realm of real estate, for title, for escrow, for lender, for realtor, people just think that we open our emails, we open doors, or we talk to each other, and then we get a check.
Easy peasy, right?
And it's there's so much more to it, between the negotiating, between figuring out how to make things close when something goes wrong, and the buyers and sellers don't necessarily know or want to deal with it, so we have to figure it out, come up with a creative solution, usually together, trying to think of something.
Oh yeah.
And then this was probably a question for later, but decent segue, at least in my realm, it's all that plus marketing, plus figuring out how to get my phone to ring with someone who wants to buy a house.
Right.
And that's probably the hardest part of the job is to get the phone to ring.
Right.
I know here in town, the escrow officers have someone to do the marketing for them. Do you market yourself, or do you have someone that does it for you?
A little bit of both. Okay. So I actually spent not quite a year. I worked on like the business development, marketing, I guess sales is the general category of title and escrow. And it really gave me a appreciation again for what you do. Like you said, you're waiting for that, phone to ring, you're out prospecting, you're door knocking, you're open houses, you're grinding for that business. And so once I understood, it isn't just as simple as like waiting around for your phone to ring. Like 2021, you just need a pulse to sell real estate. We're not in that market anymore. So it looks a lot different to generate that business. And so it gave me that appreciation of, how can I truly be a partner to the people that I work with? We do have a marketing department. I'm big into like geofarming, and I get nerdy with data. And I said I don't get nerdy with blockchain. I guess I just like numbers and technology. So like geofarming and seeing turnover rates with different communities and that kind of stuff, and getting a strategy with how to target market your ideal client and your audience.
Right.
And I'm a little more pulled away from that now that I am full escrow, but I have a great team behind me. So get you connected with some more people behind the scenes.
Yeah, and having a good team matters. That's kind of why I switched recently to be on a team, because it takes a lot off of me. I'm no longer like a solopreneur. I have leverage. People are helping me do things that I don't have to do everything, which it's wonderful. But just to go back really quick, not go back, but yeah, sure, why not? Title and escrow. There's a difference there.
There is.
What is the difference?
There is, yeah. And like I said, I'm an escrow officer. So our company, Property Title and Escrow, we do more of, I'd say, the escrow. And then we have our underwriters that are doing title. And title is, we're ensuring that transaction. So we have that preliminary title commitment. That's like, I guess, the promise to ensure that transaction, to ensure with that owner's policy that protects the buyer, that, again, that biggest purchase that they might be purchasing, knowing that they have a clear chain of title. So meaning they're not, just going to purchase something that might have encumbrances, liens, judgments. Everything has to be clear before we can close. So that's on the title side. Escrow is, the combination of collecting funds and transferring that ownership with the county recorder office, and just being that neutral third party in the transaction that's making sure that essentially that people are playing by the rules.
Right.
Like, you get that purchase contract, you get that agreement. We are that party. That's why we were ever initially brought into the real estate transaction, is, people weren't playing by the rules, and they were like, we need that neutral third party to make sure that everybody can come together, that they can do what's executed on that purchase agreement. And so we bring buyer, seller, lender, agent, attorney if necessary, all third parties in, and get that buyer to the closing line, get that seller their funds there at the end. Lots of moving parts, but in a nutshell, we're glorified instruction takers that are ensuring that transaction.
And it's so crucial because, like you said, people weren't playing by the rules, and if that was still happening now, it would be a totally different game. It wouldn't even be a game. It would just be whoever has the bigger pocketbook, I guess, to cheat the system.
For sure.
But title and escrow, or mainly escrow, I guess. Yeah. You're the ref with the whistle.
For sure. Well, we get into situations where a seller cancels, a buyer cancels, and, were they within the terms of when they, a buyer could cancel? So we are then that party that's saying yes or no. And sometimes it comes down to an earnest money dispute. So if there wasn't that neutral third party to say, no, this does go to the seller because of these terms, it'd be easy for a buyer's agent to come in and say, no, it's going to my client, when it shouldn't.
Right.
Because that happens. So.
Yeah, we are very grateful for you. Believe me, we are so grateful for you. I don't think I would be in this business if there wasn't the existence of an escrow officer, or even title. Like, things can go wrong with title, and
big time.
It gets really nasty because people, during the transaction, they have this expectation of what they're going to get. And then title finds some kind of cut on title, and then it changes everything, and people get mad very easily, and usually at us.
And then we get to take some of that off of you.
Yeah,
call title. Yeah.
They'll explain it. They know all the rules. They know.
I always say, put it on me. I don't mind being the bad guy. Have them give me your call.
We get quite a bit of blunt on some things, but some things we can't take that blunt for because I don't don't have the words. I don't have the verbiage. You obviously do, and your team does, and that's what makes it a good union between people in our realm and in our profession when we work together. That's why we do this, and I love that. One last question, just because it's my own curiosity. What's the shortest? What?
Oh, I said give it to me.
Oh yeah, right. What's the shortest transaction you've ever had? The quickest close?
Yes, with less than 2 days. I had a seller, she was the buyer, call me. She said, my in-laws are in a pickle. They have not been paying their mortgage, and they're going to lose their house. What can we do? And I was like, talked to her, got some more of the background. And, she's like, we have cash, can we buy it? What does that look like? What will you guys do? Let her know that we could, insure. I said, are there other things that they have recorded against the property that you're unaware of? Would you like us to have that title insurance? Because it is the buyer's option. They can opt to not have their transaction insured. So, it's very rare for a buyer to say, no, I don't want to have, my transaction insured. So she said, I would like to know if they have other liens or other things that, if there's an HOA and they haven't been paying their HOA,
Right.
seen up to $14,000 before attorney fees with unpaid HOAs. And so anyway, she said, yeah, I'd love to have that title commitment. So just got the ball rolling. She got us all of her identification, on her end, on the seller's end, got all their identification, got all that verified. Opened escrow, sent her a for sale by owner, had their terms and agreement. She agreed to pay everything. But then, got that title commitment back, I think within 6 hours from our underwriters. And then got that payoff ordered, had the payoff back within like 30 minutes. So that same day we got them set up to sign. And then that next morning, we got everything sent to the county. I think it was like 36 hours from the moment we had that conversation. So we can really move the needle, and got her closing funds, that wire, sent it to release to
That's
the county.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it helped, again, we're at the mercy of third parties. So it helped that payoff came back super quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 5 to 7 business days that we get those payoffs back. There's no HOA, fairly clean title other than that one payoff that they weren't paying on. So that was a pretty hefty payoff. But yeah, they have now a property that is in their name, and she was so grateful, and she thought, great, this is going to be months before we get this figured out, and that's going to, now probably will go into foreclosure, and then, the next
2 days.
2 days, yeah.
That's amazing. So I fibbed. Last question. I have more questions. In that transaction, they weren't paying their mortgage. So did the new buyer just pay the the unpaid mortgage payments, or how did they arrange that?
The seller had equity in the property.
Okay.
So, we obviously have to pay off any loans, liens, anything like that through that transaction. So we paid off that company that our sellers weren't paying.
Okay.
So we paid them off through closing, sent them that payoff wire. I had a lot of late charges, fees, astronomical. So they set that purchase price based, around, they padded that payoff, what that estimated payoff was going to be. And that's kind of what they made that purchase price to be.
Okay.
Kind of with like closing fees and everything, again, because they were family.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, buyer was kind of coming in saying, money I'm putting to buy this property is just going to be to pay off what they owe on that property. So sellers didn't walk away with any closing funds. We made their bottom line zero per the terms of their agreement, but
there was no,
it was cash.
House getting taken, or
right, but now they still have a house to live in.
And, no boot or anything.
Yep,
okay, good stuff. All right,
so
good.
And then it was just owned free and clear. So so if you have a family member that has a bunch of cash that can make all your problems go away, I recommend it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Uncle Rob Bank, can I have some cash you have?
I don't want to pay my mortgage anymore, so I'm not going to. You buy my house, and I'll just keep living here.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll pay you rent. $100 a month or so. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I need an Uncle Rob Bank. That'd be great.
Right. Yeah.
Title insurance.
Yes.
You mentioned buyers can opt out of title insurance. I don't think I knew that.
It's optional. Yeah, it does actually state that on our settlement statement. It says optional. So we'll have people that will call and say, sellers mainly that will say, well, I don't want to pay this, because typically the seller is paying. Mm-hmm. They own that property. They're paying, and then it's again for the buyer's benefit. And so they'll call us and they'll say, it says optional. I'm not paying for it. And then I'll resort to that contract that says, line XYZ says you do agree to pay for that owner's policy. And then if they have an agent, I'll say, give your agent a call. They can go through the contract a little more in depth with you. But here's where it says that you did agree to that. But it's very rare. The only times I've seen it is with an investor, where a buyer, is an investor and coming into the seller saying, we don't have to do title insurance. We don't have to do an inspection. I'll buy as is. We saw that a lot more when the market was crazy in 2021, mm-hmm. but most buyers would be pretty silly to not have that transaction insured. And again, that's then investors that are just crazy and will do whatever to get that property.
Yeah, and then mm-hmm. Save the buck, mm-hmm. so they can make more on when they flip it or whatever they're doing with it. Yeah, it's all about saving the buck.
Mr. Seller, you don't have to pay for title insurance.
Yeah.
I'll pay for all your closing costs, and we don't see that now. I mean,
Yeah.
That's not the market we're in now, but we might go back there. We'll see what rates do. I don't.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's a whole nother conversation, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Okay. Hopefully this time, last question.
Yeah.
The 2-day close.
Yes.
Could you have done that anywhere, or did property give you tools that could help with that big time?
If I was at my old company, no, we would not have been able to do that. The underwriters at my other company, it just took a lot longer to get a commitment back. Sometimes it would be up to 7 days to get a title commitment back.
Okay.
We work with amazing underwriters that can get us a title commitment back within the same day, which I really never saw with my other company. So that was huge. But no, I mean, we do just have that technology that's working for us behind the scenes so that I could spend more time on the phone with that buyer and making sure that we had everything that we need to close. So I could have that communication with her while everything is working seamlessly with our communication and our technology. So I don't know. I would say no if I was at my other company. I would say if someone said we're closing in 2 days, I'd say you're crazy. I'd say get lost. Yeah, I'd say at least a week. You know, but
it's good to know that it can happen.
It can
especially
happen.
where you're at, and I like having you on my side.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, I like
Right on.
business with you.
This was fun.
Yeah,
I learned some
absolutely.
stuff, which was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for letting
much.
me be here.
You're welcome. I'm glad you could come up and make it happen.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Let's
thank
do it
you.
again.
And thank you all for watching, tuning in. We'll do it again. See you later. Bye, world. Thank you.
Hey,
That was good.
that was so much fun. I forgot you were recording. I won't lie.
All right, awesome.
That was so much fun.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, that was so much fun.